The house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York, looks like something out of a postcard. Quiet street, calm water, a perfect suburban dream. But in the winter of 1975, that dream turned into something far darker. Something that still sparks debate decades later. This is the story of the Amityville Horror, a case where terror didn't just linger in the shadows. It may have lived inside the walls. Just 1 year before the haunting claims began, a brutal crime shattered the home's peaceful image. On November 13, 1974, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his own family while they slept. His parents and 4 siblings were found face down in their beds, each killed with a rifle. No signs of struggle. No clear explanation why. DeFeo later claimed he heard voices urging him to kill. Dark voices. Persistent voices. At the time, many dismissed this as a desperate attempt to avoid responsibility. But what came next would make people question everything. In December 1975, just over a year later, the George Lutz and Kathy Lutz family moved into the same house. They knew about the murders. The price was too good to ignore. It seemed like a fresh start, but they would only last 28 days. From the moment they moved in, things felt wrong. George reportedly became obsessed with the house temperature, constantly complaining about feeling cold, even when the fireplace was blazing. Kathy claimed to wake up at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, the same time the DeFeo murders were believed to have occurred. Soon, the experiences escalated. Strange odors filled the rooms. Swarms of flies appeared in the middle of winter. Green slime oozed from the walls and keyholes. Doors slammed shut on their own. George claimed to hear voices echoing through the house, sometimes calling his name. And then there were the sightings. Kathy reported seeing a demonic figure with glowing red eyes staring at her from the darkness. Their children claimed to see imaginary friends that seemed far too real. One of them described a pig-like creature named Jody, with burning eyes that watched from outside the window. The family became increasingly terrified. George grew distant, irritable, almost as if he were being influenced by something unseen. He would wake in the middle of the night and wander the house, checking doors and windows as if expecting something to break in or escape. Then came the night everything reached its peak. The Lutz family claimed the house erupted into chaos. Furniture moved violently. Loud banging noises echoed through the walls. Doors and windows slammed open and shut. Kathy said she levitated above the bed. George claimed he nearly lost control completely, feeling overwhelmed by rage and fear. The next morning they fled, leaving behind their belongings, leaving behind the house, and leaving behind a mystery that would grip the nation. If you're finding this story as chilling as it sounds, make sure to subscribe to Shadow Files and stay with us, because what comes next is where things get even more complicated. After their escape, the Lutz family went public with their story. Their claims quickly spread, capturing media attention across the United States. Paranormal investigators, including the famous Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren, visited the house. They reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. Lorraine claimed to sense a powerful negative presence, something she described as inhuman. Photos taken during the investigation appeared to show a ghostly figure of a young boy staring from a doorway. To believers, it was proof. To skeptics, it was coincidence or manipulation. But here's where the case takes a sharp turn. Not long after the story exploded, inconsistencies began to surface. Investigators and journalists started digging deeper into the Lutz family's claims. And what they found raised serious questions. For one, there was no physical evidence supporting many of the events described. No official records of structural damage. No confirmation of the strange substances or infestations. Even neighbors reported nothing unusual during the time the Lutz family lived there. Then came a shocking revelation. A lawyer connected to the DeFeo case later claimed that the entire story had been fabricated. According to him, the Lutz family and others had discussed creating a horror narrative over drinks. A story that would captivate the public and generate profit. George Lutz denied these accusations until his death, maintaining that their experiences were real. Kathy stood by the story as well. But doubt had already taken hold. So what really happened inside that house? Was it a genuine haunting tied to the violent energy of the murders? A psychological breakdown fueled by fear and suggestion? Or was it all an elaborate hoax designed to capitalize on tragedy? Let's break down the theories. The first theory is the paranormal explanation. Supporters believe the brutality of the DeFeo murders left a dark imprint on the house, a kind of residual energy that manifested in terrifying ways. The repeated time of 3:15 a.m., the voices, the apparitions, all signs of something beyond our understanding. The second theory focuses on psychology. The Lutz family moved into a house with a horrific past. Knowing what happened there could have triggered stress, anxiety, and even shared hallucinations. Sleep deprivation and fear can distort perception in powerful ways. What felt real may have been the mind trying to make sense of overwhelming unease. The third theory is the hoax theory. Critics argue that the story was deliberately exaggerated or entirely fabricated. The financial success that followed, including books and films like the Amityville Horror, certainly added fuel to that argument. Some believe the haunting was nothing more than a carefully crafted narrative. And then there's a fourth, less discussed possibility. A mix of truth and exaggeration. Perhaps the Lutz family experienced strange, unexplained events. But over time, those events may have been amplified, reshaped, and dramatized into something far more terrifying than reality. Even today, the house at Amityville remains a point of fascination. New owners have come and gone, most reporting no paranormal activity at all. The iconic windows have even been altered to discourage unwanted attention. But the legend refuses to die. Because at its core, the Amityville Horror taps into something deeper. The fear that evil can linger, that places can remember, that what happens in a moment of darkness can echo long after. So what do you think? Was the Amityville Horror a true encounter with something beyond our world? A tragic case of fear spiraling out of control? Or one of the most successful hoaxes in paranormal history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories that blur the line between fact and fear, make sure to subscribe to Shadow Files and turn on notifications. Because some stories don't stay buried.